I'm Ashton Addison from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews with Manohara K, founder and CEO of Unmarshal. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. And it's great to meet folks here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to dive into AI and blockchain, the intersection of the two, where we see the future of AI, which is growing so rapidly, and how blockchain benefits from that and vice versa. I'd love to start off, Manohara, with what you and your team have built at Unmarshal and how you're helping this perfect match of AI and blockchain, and then we can dive into all the latest details.
Yeah, thanks, Ashton, for having me here. And that's a great first question. I think I can't explain enough of what Unmarshal means to us and like what we've built so far, right? So Unmarshal is a blockchain data indexing protocol. Like we are one of the infrastructure players in the Web3. So I think like the idea all along was to build the foundation better so that others can build better DeFi, better NFT, and better a gamify project. So we kind of serve as a middleware between the blockchains and people who are building on top of blockchains by helping them have a better access to the data. And then we've done a decent work in last 3.5 years. We've indexed more than 60 chains, both EVM and non-EVM, and we have helped close to 77,000 plus dApps. We are a B2B company, so we've helped more than 7,000 clients to access on-chain data and build their apps faster. So this is some of the, like we've served more than 10 billion requests, and then like built more than 5 product lines, all the way from APIs, notifications, explorers, and then no code, smart contract indexers, etc. So that's the track record. And this so far, and we are super excited for the next phase of our journey, which is decentralizing Unmarshal stack.
Very cool. And I would love to dive into that in a little bit here about the decentralization of it, which I think is important. I would love to focus a little bit more on the indexing of data, why that's important for the end users that are trading or investing and using other use case applications. So one of great example, I'm guessing, is just the price data feed is obviously an important part of data. Can you explain exactly how Unmarshal is making blockchain data indexing better for the end user that, for example, is using a DeFi application?
Yeah. So Unmarshal, it doesn't come to the picture when an end user is accessing some app, right? Like it may be DeFi protocol, or it may be simple investments, or it may be accessing his portfolio in a wallet, right? We sit behind those applications that you use. For example, if you have used a wallet, it may be Cypher wallet, it may be Coinomi, it may be Frontier, it may be it may be other wallets, right? So the indexer is a one step behind those wallets. So we serve the data APIs, all the price feeds, all the balances, wallet balances, transaction history, your portfolio within various DeFi applications like Aave, Compound, Uniswap, LPs, etc. So how much liquidity you provisioned there. So those are the information that we access and we build and serve it to your wallet. I think without indexer, I think your favorite apps might take twice the time, if not more, to come to the life. But with infrastructure applications like us, the development time of such applications reduces, and the cost to build such applications also reduces. I think like the whole decentralization is to come out of that black box and behind the screens, and then it's a way of bringing indexing to the common people, right? So if you are a Marsh holder, you can become an indexer. So we build all the tech. All you have to do is run that indexer, serve it to whoever it may be. It may be the apps that come from Unmarshal, or it may be direct applications who wants to access the data. And so far, what we have done is a B2B segment, like where others use that data, and then like other applications use unmarshal data, and then they build useful applications. But with the help of AI, we are making sure that even the novice users or NAMI users who don't even have to have an app can have direct access to the index data, where they can go to a app like Xscan, or they can go to an app like Saki, and then like ask their questions in plain English, without having the knowledge of SQLs, without having the knowledge of querying the data from databases. You can directly go and ask questions in English, and let Unmarshal answer this. That's the one of the major features of AI that these I think like the ChatGPT has brought us, right? So the way of talking to the systems in your own language, using LLMs and using ChatGPTs of the world. So that's the experience we want to bring to the blockchain data, and then we are excited to bring that forward. We've already done that in a form of Saki, which is for product managers and founders of the companies who want to access their company's data. And what we are going to do next is agentizing each dApp, so that the community of that dApp can also use data, query data using their own natural language. So that's what excites us more. So we are building continuous innovation to make sure that everyone in the Web3 space, irrespective of whether they are builders, they are investors, have uninterrupted access to the blockchain data to make their decisions better for their own purpose. It may be investing, it may be building, or it may be any other reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that, because there's so many avid fans of Web3 that want to also utilize AI, but they're not programmers, and they want to use these AI agents and LLMs in a way that maybe they can get the benefits of what a programmer would be able to do without having to know a language. And I feel like AI has made a huge leap in the last 2 years, where people can almost code anything with the help of the AI, and they don't even need to know programming language.
Yeah, exactly. And like one of the use case that I want to give you is, in without AI, if you want to filter, give me all the Solana based tokens that are listed on Binance and have liquidity more than 1 million, and then have traded volume worth 10 million, and have the market cap of 100 million, right? So asking such a question and like accessing that data without AI is nearly impossible for NAMI users, right? But like with the AI, it becomes super simple, and all you have to do is just say what you want to a AI prompt so that it can get it. And with the intents, you can also do something like, okay, put my $500 in this bucket, and like have a stop loss of 10%, plus or minus 10%, right? So that's going to be another major milestone that people can build you leveraging AI, and we want to make all that possible using Unmarshal data, either through directly or through with the partners. So that's why you see Unmarshal partnering with various blockchains, various AI projects, to make sure that like we come together to give you experience that go makes you go wow.
Yeah, that sounds incredible, to have AI that you could put in so many parameters to find the perfect coin, or find the project that resonates with you most. I'm definitely going to check that out. I wanted to ask a little bit more about the decentralization part. You're talking about the next stages of Unmarshal and adding more decentralization. Now, I wanted to differentiate or figure out, with the decentralization in the data feeds and the process. For example, if you had a crypto wallet, and in there's the Bitcoin price on the amount of Bitcoin that you own, that price has to come from some location, whether it's from an exchange like Coinbase, or maybe it's multiple exchanges, so that you have in case there's an anomaly on that one exchange, something happens, the price is more decentralized. But then there's also the process of how that price from Coinbase actually gets to the wallet, which is the Unmarshal part itself. So is the decentralization both of those parts, or how exactly does that work in decentralizing the process more?
Yeah. So we already do part of it, right? Like when somebody fetches price, it's already normalized across the across exchanges. So we consider centralized and decentralized exchanges to give a price feed for users. But I think like the more decentralization aspect come in where the blockchains, they have multiple RPCs, multiple nodes, which is decentralized. And the dApps, it's deployed permissionlessly across multiple time zones and multiple instances. That's also decentralized. I think the only centralized piece that sits in between is the indexer, which tracks like which are the tokens you have, right? Like directly you can't access such information on blockchain because everything is stored block by block. A simple question like what are the tokens I have is impossible to get without an indexer. So that's where I think such information is stored in a centralized way. So we are opening that up for users as a decentralized, right? So instead of like Unmarshal storing such data in our storage servers, we are making sure that even the indexer nodes are decentralized. There are like five people who are hosting a same node, and then you can fetch the data from any one of them, and all of them are accurately, and they do consensus among each one of them between them to make sure they already have accurate data, and any accurate data or any anomalies will result in their staked amount to be penalized. They are incentivized to behave better, and they are penalized to penalized if there is any anomaly in the data. So bringing such a system would ensure that there is no centralized piece in this whole narration, right? Like all the way from the node RPC node to what you are seeing in front of your screen. That's what makes Unmarshal decentralization unnecessary. And the second aspect of it is to remove any centralized authority in building the indexing for the whole Web3, right? Right now, the process is we talk to blockchains, the newer blockchains that are coming, and we work out some sort of commercial deal to make sure that like we pay our server fees, we pay our infrastructure fees, etc. And then like we index that chain to make the data available. But with decentralization, the aspect of any central entity would go away. So as a new chain, let's say you are a new layer 3 chain built on OP stack, all you need to do is come to Unmarshal stack and then just propose, hey, I want this chain to be indexed, and these are the parameters. This is the RPC, and this is where I want to be indexed, and these are the data types I want. And then anybody can come and pick up if the reward is lucrative. All right. So there is no need for any team to go and negotiate. All economy would be the entire indexing economy would be controlled by March holders. Like if the March reward is lucrative enough, they can index. So it becomes infinite scalable solution, right? So there is no central services, so servers, so that we have to worry about not to not to scale beyond our capabilities. Now, because it's hosted by individual indexers, and they can manage a particular service, then it becomes super easy to scale the entire Unmarshal network of adding new chains, adding new indexes without anybody's intervention, right? So it becomes infinitely scalable. So these are the two major aspects of our decentralization, and we've come up with one of the I think one of the innovative solutions to build a chain for such a resource intensive task. I mean, like you can't put like 3 to 4 terabytes of data on blockchain and then access that in real time, right? Like you don't have CPU for that. But thanks to our friends at EigenLayer, we were able to come up with a solution which is AVS based blockchain, where the where the operation or where the execution of indexer happens offline, but the validation of the data and validation of the consensus happen on chain. So this is something we have come up with with the help of eigenlayer.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really important point because blockchains, each blockchain is a little different in the cost and the speed, but it's the size of data nowadays, even a video file, you're looking at like 1 GB per minute. How are you going to actually put that on a blockchain without it costing $1 million in transaction fees to transact? There needs to be some solution like this to be able to index, and maybe there's a balance of some part is off-chain, some part is on-chain, as long as there's a decentralized process and sort of a fair process of making sure that that information is valid, then I feel like that's a perfect solution, like an indexing like Unmarshal.
Yeah. See, I think like if you look at blockchains like Solana, especially now with the meme coin mania, it's generating thousands of transactions every second, and like how do you make sure you keep up to the date, right? So that's where I think such solutions come to handy and help us make sure that like we serve accurate data and at all points of time.
So in this decentralization effort in making the Unmarshal protocol more decentralized, is that something that's happening right now? And there's a process of having community members or anybody that's interested in being a part of the validator nodes?
Yes, thanks. I think like you asked the right question at the right time. So we are actually running an incentivized testnet. Now we launched probably 5 days ago. So we are dedicating 1 million Marsh for which is 1% of our tokens just for the test, incentivizing the testnet users. So the reason we want is to kind of make sure that like everybody's familiar with the nodes, familiar with what kind of nodes they're running. So if you're a Marsh holder, I mean, like the only requirement for you to run any node is owning Marsh tokens and like staking Marsh tokens to secure your nodes. So we have like three different kind of nodes. One is called operator nodes, which is where you run the indexer node, and the validator nodes is just securing these operators who are running who are running indexes. You make sure that they are behaving properly. And another one is called proofreader nodes, which is additional layer of security. It's like if you run any ABS on an eigen layer, you would be very familiar with such concepts. So it's nothing too different. So it's same with additional layer of proofreaders. So we would love to I think your community people or anybody who's listening to this talk, come and run a node on a incentivized testnet and play along with the testnet, and then we will be launching mainnet probably once we've make sure that testnet, both the testnets are successful.
Yeah, that's really good information. And for crypto users that they've tried DeFi, but they haven't gotten into eigenlayer restaking, and they're not developers, how hard is it to start getting into something like these validator nodes?
It's actually super easy. So we have partnered with applications like node running applications such as Crayon, such as NodeOps, where all you have to do is like click some buttons to deploy a node. So they take care of all the infra. They take care of hosting a validator for you. So if you just go with your Marsh tokens, we built apps to make sure that it's super simple for you to deploy, irrespective of whether you run the nodes in previously or not. If you're a super technical person and who want to run the node on your own, we have Docker images that you can download and run on your own. But if you don't want to take that hassle, you can use one of the partners to run a node for you. So they'll make sure that they run a validator on behalf of you for a small fee. So we have made sure that like all sorts of people have access to such data. And I think if you see the latest trend, right? So running nodes has been one of the profitable are like good money earning opportunities in the Web3 now. So there are tons of maybe if you look at Zero Gravity, if you look at other apps, all of them are providing nodes. So it's super cool opportunity for people to run nodes nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's worth looking into because it gets you more involved in Web3, and it's different than just holding tokens. And you've mentioned the Marsh tokens a few times. One, to become a validator, have some of the Marsh tokens, but you also mentioned that there was other ways that as the ecosystem is growing and being used, then the Marsh token holders are rewarded. Could you just touch a little bit more on how exactly the Marsh token fits into Unmarshal and how it creates a sustainable ecosystem?
Yeah. So far, I think Marsh is a utility token for Unmarshal ecosystem. So far, what we've done is use like Unmarshal token for people who are using Unmarshal APIs, right? So they pay using Marsh token to get these services. We've built a sustainable ecosystem. I think that's the way we were able to sustain like for last 3 years without like leaving a lot of tokens outside, because we were generating revenue and lot of March tokens that was like that were in transaction like supply came back to the March treasury because people were paying in March. And we've also burnt some of them. We've burnt close to more than like 700k 800k like close to 800k tokens from out of the supply. And then right now, I think we are just like removing ourselves from this whole management of handling of revenue and then burning some of them and giving some of them in staking rewards. So because it's truly decentralized, the consumers would pay in March and rewards would be paid in March to the node runners. And the whole network Unmarshal chain would be secured using Unmarshal token, like Marsh token. So it plays important role in entire decentralization aspect. So it will be secured using Marsh, where people need to stake at least 25k tokens, and then we are looking anywhere between 25 to 30 million tokens to be staked for this purpose, and out of 100 million, and then the rewards would be in a similar ratio, and all the users would be I think we've built will build a demand side which is at least like 2 to 3 million tokens come into the network aspect as revenue per quarter, so which is like per year I think it's like close to 10 to 15 million, right? So which is like 15% of the tokens that come back to the network that will be distributed to the node runners. So it's a self-sustaining model. So we have made sure, I think the delay for the reason for the delay of network is also this, to make sure that we don't dilute too many tokens as rewards without having proper demand. So now I think we feel we are in a space where all of this can sustain on their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate you explaining that, Manohara. And if you want to get involved in the validator experience, and what is the best way to get started in doing that?
I think like once you get access to Unmarshal, if you already have tokens, you can just come to our community, and there are tons of documentation, video help for you to get started. You can just directly go to one of our partner, client.network, so to get started. But if you don't have Marsh, I think you can get Marsh either using one of the decentralized exchanges like Uniswap or PancakeSwap, or centralized exchanges like KuCoin, Gate. and MEXC and then access, get the data and transfer those tokens to a non-custodial wallet, so that like you can stake from there. Both holding on Ethereum chain or BSC chain works for us. And like we'll airdrop the testnet tokens. So I think like we have another snapshot being taken on 25th of this month. So if you can like participate before 25th, you can participate in this a version of testnet. If not, there'll be another one. Like this is a 2 months experiment, and after that, will there be another testnet before we go to mainnet?
That sounds great. I can leave a link to the main platform and the information about the validators and any other socials or community links that are necessary as well in the show notes below. I really appreciate you taking the time to teach us and me about blockchain indexing, AI, decentralization, more importantly as well. And I'm wishing you guys all the best on bringing full decentralization to the protocol and bringing more efficient and effective blockchain data indexing to Web3. So thank you so much for taking the time, Manohara.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think this is one of the great conversations I had. I think like the questions asked were like super relevant, and hopefully I've answered to best of my ability for people to like understand and then like learn something out of this session.